Hey everyone, my name is Courtney and I am moving to Australia in 3 days on my first working holiday visa. So, kind of going to go through all the logistics of moving to Australia and kind of behind the scenes of what goes on before I actually have to get on the plane. First and foremost, obviously, I applied for my working holiday visa online and it was super easy to do the whole application. I just needed to show proof that I had enough money in my savings account, that I had an education, that I wasn't a criminal, the basics. So I just applied for that and it cost about 500 US dollars, a little bit under that, to apply for that. And it got granted maybe a week and a half later. I just got an email saying that it was granted. So that was super quick and easy to do. I wasn't expecting it to be that simple because I was applying a few years ago for a visa to live in Belgium, and it took me months to get everything I needed to do for that. So seeing how easy it is to apply for the Australian working holiday visa it was like amazing. Right now, I'm actually packing all of my important papers, so that's what I'm kind of going through at the moment. I have copies of everything, of course, of my passport, my insurance, my driver's license, my global entry card, my visa, of course. I think it's different for people from the UK or the EU, but at least for Americans, I applied for the subclass 462 visa, um, the work and holiday instead of working holiday. It's two different things that I had no idea about because all the information online is for people from the UK moving to Australia, which is funny because there's so many Brits there. But I didn't see a lot of information about Americans moving to Australia, so I guess that's why I'm making this content. But yeah, I have copies of my visa and then obviously my passport and everything. The second most important thing I did before going to Australia was opening my Australian bank account. So a lot of the backpackers and the working holiday visa people use Commonwealth Bank, and so that's what I did. I just went online. Literally all I did was put in my name, my email, my phone number, my American address and hit open, and then I opened an account. I had to pick which branch I wanted to be my home branch, and since I'm planning to live in Manly Beach, I picked that one in Australia. So when I land in Australia, you have to go to your home branch office and show them your ID, your tax form, so like my passport, my tax form, my welcome letter, which I have here, and kind of just like verify your identity before they officially like open your bank account and give you a card to use and everything. So that's what I'm doing the day I land. So here I also just have my welcome letter and then my individual tax residence self-certification form, which is different than the tax file numbers. So also when you're moving to Australia, if you want a job, if you're on the working holiday visa, you need to apply for your tax file number. I haven't done this yet because I heard you're supposed to wait until you actually land in Australia, but you need an address to apply for this. So either one, I'm going to use the hostel address because I have a hostel booked for the first 2 weeks that I'm moving there, or I'm just going to wait until I find an apartment because I don't have one yet and use that address. But they said it takes about like 2 to 3 weeks to get that in the mail because they like send it to you. And from my understanding, it's the same thing kind of as a social security number here in the US. So I think that's more just for like how you get paid. So in terms of getting a job, I don't have one. Um, Everyone's like, "Oh, you're going to Australia. Like, are you moving for a job?" No, I'm moving and hoping to get a job there. But other than not having a job, I'm ready to have a job because I have my bank account, I have my tax number. Well, I'm applying for my tax number, and honestly, I have a plane ticket and a dream. That's all you really need. So at least that's what I keep telling myself. Okay, but right now I'm really just organizing all of my papers. Um, this is something I do every time I travel. I print copies of everything I could possibly need, at least 3 copies. I leave 1 copy of everything at home. That way, if anything happens, someone at home has a copy of my passport, they have my visa, they have my bank details. Someone at home can help me. I always leave it with someone who I know will be here and who will answer my text. So that's my dad. I left all my information with my dad. And then, of course, I have a copy of everything that I'm bringing with me in my backpack that is like I'm keeping on my body, like I'm keeping on my person. That way it can stay close to me. And I have just like a folder that I keep all my important documents and stuff in. So, along with my passport copy, my bank statement, my visa, I have a copy of my health insurance, a copy of my vaccination records, all of my health records. I have copies of everything, my COVID vaccine, everything you could possibly need. I always bring copies of everything because like you don't know what's gonna happen. You never know what might happen, what emergencies are gonna go down. So knock on wood that nothing does, but it's better to just have everything. Better to be safe than sorry. And then I keep a second copy of everything somewhere else. Not going to tell you where in case you decide to rob me, but I keep a second copy of all of my forms someplace else, but keeping it still with me on my body. Just so, again, if I do get robbed, they just have one copy of everything. I still have all the originals and all the and a second set of copies, and someone at home still has those copies also. Maybe I'm crazy. Who knows? I think I'm just prepared. I don't know. I'd want to travel with me. I like being prepared. But yeah, anyway. So I'm moving to Australia in 3 days, and I've low-key done like no research on this, if I'm being really honest. I kind of just like saw it on TikTok. Everyone's like, oh, get your working holiday visa. Like, living in Australia is so much fun. Like, now's the time to do it. You're in your 20s, Like, you know what? Maybe they're right. And I was in Australia for New Year's this year, 2025, and granted, I was only there for 6 days, but I loved it when I was there for those 6 days. And I was like, you know what? Like, I could do this. I feel like I should do this. So, oh, also, this is really important. With the visas, the visa portal, like, they only give out X amount of visas a year, and that portal restarts July 1st, as far as I know. Don't quote me on that. That might be wrong, but my understanding is because that's their winter time, like people are getting ready for coming to Australia on a working holiday visa for like the summertime, which is the busy season. So people are getting ready to do that. They're applying in July, August, September. Like that's the time that people are applying. So those visas are going to get granted a lot faster because it's the beginning of the year for the visa portal, which is July 1st. So I applied for my visa, I think like July 2nd, and I got it on maybe the 18th or something like that. Still, like literally 2 weeks later. But I've heard of people applying for it and then 2 seconds later getting it approved. So it's really not that hard to get your visa approved. Like, that shouldn't be something that holds you back from applying for your working holiday visa in Australia. But I've heard people say that if they apply in like April, May, and June, that either it doesn't get granted or it takes months to get it granted because that's like the end of the year. So there's, less visas to go around that they're like granting, if that makes sense. I also could be making all of that up, so who knows. Anyways, I also printed out 30 copies of my resume so that when I get to Australia and need a job, I can just walk around and hand out my resume. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself in my head is what I'm going to do. I don't know if that's actually how it works. Everyone says that that's what you should do. Like, you should go hand out your resume in person because applying online, you're going to have the same luck as you would in America, which is basically nothing, and you won't hear back from anyone. So I printed out, well, I had my dad edit it, but then I printed out 30 copies of my resume so that I could go to the cafes and restaurants and bakeries and whatever, the places where I want to work and like say, hey, I'm Courtney, here's my resume, hire me. However, the one thing I did change on my resume was I took my phone number off of it because I don't have my Australian phone number yet. Obviously, I'm not in Australia yet. My plan is to get one when I get there. Everyone says that you should do it in the airport when you arrive because it's the easiest way to get it done. I'm really bad at technology and I don't understand it at all. And I don't understand how you can have an eSIM. I don't understand that, but that's what everyone says to do. They say, go to the airport, get your bag, go through immigration, whatever, and then look around once you get out at all of the like phone stands and go to one, tell them you need an Australian phone number, and they'll add an eSIM to your phone, and then I don't know. I think that's how it works. I have no idea about how to keep your American phone number. If you know, that'd be some helpful information. But anyway, so I took my phone number off of my resume because it's my American phone number, and realistically, these companies are not downloading WhatsApp and typing in the American country code just to call me. So everyone says get an Australian phone number. It's gonna be so much easier to actually get a job, actually have people call you back. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then I don't know, I guess I'll write it on here or just like give it to them, like tell them my phone number. I don't know. Again, that's something I'll sound like I'll figure it out when I get there. That's kind of been my whole mentality of this whole experience is I'll figure it out when I get there. Because I have nothing figured out. But the older I get, the more I realize that no one has anything figured out, and it's okay. Because everyone's just faking it anyways at the end of the day. Wait, actually. Okay, anyway. I'm also getting all of my documents ready to go to the bank on my first day, which is, I think I said this, my welcome letter, my tax form, and my passport. So let's do all of that. I'm also going to bring a copy of my visa just because, I don't know, I feel like that's important. I feel like they might ask for that. Anywho. Also, I've applied for a lot of visas in my life, and well, one, this one was really easy to do. Two, it's weird because it's not connected to like an app. Like the New Zealand visa was like on an app I had on my phone, and then it's also not in my passport. So I applied for like a visa to go to Ghana, and I had to ship out my passport to the embassy in Washington D.C., and then they added it to my passport. This visa, they literally just emailed it to me, and they said that it's connected to my passport and it starts once I get there. I don't really understand how that works, but I'm just gonna trust that it'll work. So, but basically, the working holiday visa gives you 1 year from the date of entry to travel in and around and in and out of Australia as much as you want. But you can only stay with the same employer for 6 months unless you get like written, like it's okay to do that type of thing from the government, which you would need to like apply for and do another form and yada yada yada. So realistically, I'm only gonna have like one job for 6 months while I'm there, unless I love it. But then that would put me past a 1 year mark. So to get a second year on your Australian working holiday visa, you need to do your 88 days. So you might hear everyone talking about this like their 88 days. This is basically you have to do 88 days of specified work from the Australian government. I think how it works is you apply online, like through the government like visa website that you applied for your visa on. Tell them you're applying for your second visa, and then you want to do like your 88 days. And I think you can, I don't know if you can pick where it is, but usually it's in like a rural area of Australia. I think you can pick which sector, like which field it's in. Like a lot of people will do farming or they'll do like hospitality or like something like that. So if I really love Australia, after 6 months, I would start doing my 88 days so that I could apply for my second year visa and then get another job for like another 6 months. So, yeah, this is all stuff that I kind of just learned from TikTok, to be honest, and made up in my head because I feel like I'm right. So, who knows? I also need to start packing. Everyone's like, oh, have you packed for Australia? No. Have not. Not at all. I have a giant pile in my room. That's it. I have an empty suitcase right next to me. I have an idea in my head of what I want to bring. Packing, haven't started that. It's overwhelming because here's the thing, right? One, I'm bringing all my summer clothes because it's October right now, which means it's springtime in Australia, which means we're heading into summer. I want to bring all of my tank tops, my shorts, my bathing suits, my dresses. Like, I want to bring all my summer stuff. But it's cold here in October, so I have to go in the back of my closet, find all my summer stuff, get it out, all that. So I'm bringing all of that. The other thing is, I don't know how long I'm going to be there for. So I kind of have to pack for everything because what if I stay through, technically I have October to October. So what if I stay through the whole year? Then I'm in Australia for their winter, which granted isn't that bad compared to winters I'm used to in the Northeast. So, but still, like I would need a jacket, I would need long pants, like I would need these things for the winter. So I'm like, okay, I kind of have to bring some warmer clothes, right? But then also, like, what if I get a job at an office? I need like some of my corporate outfits. I need some business casual professional outfits. I can't just wear like my bikini all the time. It would be nice, but I can't do that. So that's why I'm feeling a little overwhelmed with packing. And every other time I've moved out of the country, I always end up bringing half of my suitcase full of snacks and stuff from the US, and I don't want to do that this time. Like, I never end up eating all of them anyway, and it just takes up so much room in my bag, and it's a better idea in my head than it actually is to like follow through with. So, also when I was in Australia, I felt like they had more Americanized like snacks than I was expecting, at least compared to when I moved to Europe before. Europe is just like a completely different world. Like none of the same. Like everything looks different. Like even like brand name things like Oreos like were completely different. Like everything's just new. But when I was in Australia, like everything felt more familiar, like more similar to how we have it in America. Um, the one thing I always bring with me is Italian dressing because I love cooking chicken in Italian dressing. So when I moved to Belgium when I was younger, I brought like 3 bottles of Italian dressing, which took up so much room in my bag. And like, did I really need to do that? No, but like I wanted to, and like I don't know what was going on in my head back then. But like when I was in Australia in January, I saw Italian dressing at the store. I was like, wow, I could live here. But also, I say that about every single country I visit is like, wow, I could live here. But really, just due to the fact that they have Italian dressing, tells me I'll be okay. I'm low key just like trying not to crash out about moving because I haven't really thought about this as much as I should have. I'm not saying I haven't thought about it. I'm not saying I'm being reckless or anything. Like, I did think about it enough to like apply for my visa 4 months ago. Like, I've had months to think about this and plan for this. I've kind of just been like putting it off in my head. I'm like, oh, I have so much time. I'm not leaving till October. I have so much time. Like, and now it's Friday and I'm leaving on Monday. And I'm like, oh, I need to like figure stuff out. So, yeah. Okay, anyway. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for all my Australia content because I'll be trying to post every single day, trying to make my daily vlogs, and hopefully helping other people, inspiring them to do their working holiday visa in Australia because why the heck not? It's Australia. So, yeah. Okay, bye. Thanks for watching.